Welcome to SIC 2016, ISG's annual Sourcing Industry Conference, the premier event for global service and technology providers. I'm Sonia Van Sickle. More than 200 industry professionals have gathered here in Dallas for this two-day conference to discuss and debate how to go digital. Today I'm speaking with Mike Connors, Chairman and CEO of ISG. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, and it's good to be here.
Thank you. Why do you think ISG's Sourcing Industry Conference is so valuable to participants?
Well, the industry is exploding with change right now. It's a digital revolution. And what ISG can bring is the voice of the customer to our provider community. And with all of the data and the analytics and the research that we have, we think we can help our providers be more successful as these companies really move to a digital enterprise into the future.
Now, the theme of this year's SIC is Go Digital. So why is that significant?
Well, the Go Digital, it is more than just a rallying cry. It is the new digital enterprise that are being introduced in all of the businesses around the world. Every business, whether it's in energy, whether it's in manufacturing, in banking, or insurance, are looking to digitize their business, automate their processes to get cost out and use that cost savings to help them grow their businesses.
So if you had one lesson that you want service providers to come away with today, what would that be?
First, listen to what the changes are in the marketplace. Understand where the changes are and begin to focus your time, resources, and investment dollars to change and help our clients digitize their business for the future.
All right. Thanks very much, Mike, for joining us today.
Thank you.
We have with us today Todd La Vie, who is president of ISG Americas, Australia, and New Zealand. Thanks, Todd, for being with us today.
Thank you, Sonia.
Now, in your opening address, you talked about something called the incumbent's dilemma. Now, what is that?
Incumbents are under a lot of pressure. They've got to deliver what was on the prior contract. They've got to focus on the future and deliver new solutions. And they're asked to deliver profitability while at the same time they need to invest in their accounts. So there's a lot of pressure on the incumbents. And what's happened is that they're in a situation where they need to focus on accomplishing the goals that they had signed up for 5 years ago, but they also have to get positioned for the future. And when things aren't quite right at that account, then they get themselves in a situation where how do they proceed forward? What's the best way for them to do that? And some of the challenges they face are things like, do I invest? Do I come up with new solutions for the client?
Right.
How do I best get myself positioned for the future when I'm facing possibly issues that might be draining my relationships or straining my relationships? And how do I work through those? So they've got themselves in a tough situation. It becomes a dilemma for them to go forward.
Well, Todd, what do enterprises most need from their service providers today, would you say?
I would say a continued focus on quality of delivery. I would also say that clients are interested in the next 5 years. The last 5, the last 10, all irrelevant. What's the next 5 hold? And the delivery of those future solutions, IT and business related opportunities that the providers need to deliver are the things that I would say the providers absolutely need to understand. They need to bring the business and IT interconnected solutions to the client and show the client that they've got a roadmap, they've got a path to getting that client to where they want to be in 5 years.
So what one word of advice would you give to service providers?
I would say the pieces of advice that I would say is make sure you're accelerating your solutions, your account management, and the things that you're doing every day to get on or ahead of the pace of change that's happening in the businesses.
All right. Good advice.
Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you. Well, our next guest is Harvey Gluckman, a partner with ISG who delivered an update on the global services market during today's opening session. Welcome, Harvey. Thank you very much for joining us.
Glad to be here.
We heard today from your market update that digital adoption is accelerating. Now, how do you know, and what exactly is that?
So what we do is, through our ISG index and our market data is we look at the health of the outsourcing industry from an ACV basis. And what we've done is we've actually analyzed over the last 2 years between traditional managed services and as a service adoption outsourcing in the marketplace. And through our data over, expected from a 2-year growth horizon is that 30% of the market is going to be as a service versus traditional ways of outsourcing in the past.
You mentioned as a service solutions, in other words, cloud-based platforms and software. Now, how rapidly is this market growing?
When you look at the data over the last 18 months, we're actually seeing the adoption rates approaching 50%. So when you look at transactions that clients, when they seek digital enablement or digital transformation, 65% of the solutions have some kind of digital component, of which cloud and analytics are the two leading components, as well as automation. When you're looking at the competitiveness of the marketplace, it's quite interesting. Is infrastructure as a service, we see about 30 providers in that landscape, but when you look at software as a service, there's more than 550 different providers approaching all different aspects of digital enablement.
If you had one word of advice to give to service providers today, what would it be?
I would say, based upon observations of how much digital transformation has gone on over the last 5 years, and particularly the last 2, I would probably say they need to focus much more around transition and around the governance and delivery challenges that many of these solutions and the complexities that they possess. Also, many of our transactions are moving at a faster pace. We're in a 3 to 4 month horizon that many of these deals are doing. And as a result, I think much of the due diligence is been a little bit sloppy, which is providing some additional complexity for many of these providers to take their respective clients from the current state to the future state, and they're running into, I would say, very large speed bumps in the transition cycle.
Thank you for joining us at SIC 2016, where the sourcing industry is coming together to share ideas and go digital. I'm Sonia Van Sickle.